Lahore's Cerebrum. This editorial paints a vivid picture of Lahore's cultural vibrancy through its myriad festivals and artistic expressions, highlighting how the city awakens with creative energy during spring. Lahore dozes in the summer. Dozes here means that Lahore appears to be in a state of lethargy or inactivity during the hot summer months, suggesting a seasonal slowdown. In spring, it comes alive with lit fests. Comes alive is a phrasal verb indicating that Lahore transforms into a lively, vibrant hub during the spring as literary festivals. Lit fests take center stage. The Faiz Festival occupied last weekend, the Lahore Lit Fest the next. Occupied means that these festivals took place consecutively, first the Faiz Festival and then the Lahore Lit Fest, demonstrating a continuous schedule of cultural events. In between, there has been the horse cattle show in the Fortress Stadium. In between signals that amid the literary events, there is also a traditional event, the horse cattle show, held at the Fortress Stadium, emphasizing the city's diverse cultural calendar. Once the showcase for Punjab's agricultural livestock and agro-produce, it has been revived as a showpiece by the Tinsel Punjab government, supported by the establishment. Showcase refers to an event used to display achievements. Here, the event used to highlight agricultural excellence. Tinsel Punjab government is a metaphor implying a flashy but superficial administration and, supported by the establishment, indicates backing from powerful, traditional institutions. Hardly had the dust settled in the Fortress Stadium when it was raised again by Buzkashi horsemen from Chitral and Gilgit. Hardly had the dust settled is an idiomatic expression meaning barely any time had passed since the previous event. Raised again suggests that new excitement was generated by the arrival of Buzkashi horsemen, traditional riders from Chitral and Gilgit, adding another layer to the festivities. Lahore's cerebrum throbs with activity. Cerebrum refers metaphorically to the brain, implying that Lahore is the intellectual center of the region. Throbs with activity is a vivid metaphor suggesting that the city pulses with creative and cultural energy. The Faiz Festival is an annual reminder of Faiz Ahmad Faiz's fecundity as an inspirational poet, a smoking revolutionary, a noble humanist trapped between a demanding muse and an unpoetic officialdom. Annual reminder indicates the event happens every year to honor Faiz Ahmad Faiz. Fecundity means his prolific creativity. Smoking revolutionary uses hyperbole to describe his intense, fiery revolutionary spirit, while noble humanist praises his compassionate outlook. Trapped between a demanding muse and an unpoetic officialdom is a metaphor that contrasts his poetic inspiration with the dull, bureaucratic world. His festival is 10 years old. It needs another 90 more to do justice to his literary legacy. Do justice to means to honor fully. The suggestion that the festival needs 90 more years implies that his legacy is so vast and enduring that a decade is just the beginning of a much longer celebration. Faiz Sahib, 1911 to 1984, belonged to the 20th century. His appeal remains timeless and ageless, to judge from the span of generations that crowded into the Alhambra Art Center over February 14th. 16. Timeless and ageless indicate that his influence transcends the limitations of time and age. Span of generations suggests that people of all ages attended the festival, underscoring the universal appeal of his work. Youth provided vitality. Age and experience received veneration. Provided vitality means that the young brought energy, while received veneration means that older generations were honored with respect. The Faiz Fest began with a roof-raising performance by the singing idol Shafqat Amanat Khan. Roof-raising is an idiom meaning an extremely energetic performance that could metaphorically raise the roof with excitement. Singing idol denotes a highly admired singer. The seventh of his Patiala Gharana line, Shafqat showed how tradition can be adapted to the demands of the 21st century. Patiala Gharana refers to a renowned lineage in classical music, and adapted to the demands implies that while rooted in tradition, his style evolves to meet modern tastes. His audience sang along with him in a mass karaoke, and then, after he handed the microphone to them, individual voices crooned what they trill in the bath. Mass karaoke denotes a collective, participatory singing experience. Crooned means sung softly, And what they trill in the bath humorously implies that the audience sang the songs they often sing casually at home. Faiz Sahib's appeal remains timeless and ageless. This reaffirms that the influence of Faiz Ahmad Faiz transcends the limitations of his era, resonating with people of all generations. Each day's program began with a dance performance by students of the Lahore Grammar School. Program refers to the schedule of events. The use of students indicates youth participation, which adds a lively and hopeful dimension. Synchronized to perfection, they performed with open-armed confidence. Synchronized to perfection implies flawless, coordinated movement, and open-armed confidence suggests warmth and assurance in their performance. Dance is definitely for the supple and young at heart. Supple suggests flexibility and liveliness. Young at heart is an idiomatic expression meaning maintaining youthful energy regardless of age. Perhaps no one alive can match the effortless erudition of two poets, Zehra Nigah and Iftikhar Arif. Effortless erudition means profound knowledge that appears naturally, without apparent effort. The statement elevates these poets as incomparable in their command of modern Urdu literature. They are to modern Urdu what Shakespeare was to the English language, Victor Hugo to French poetry, and Pushkin to Russian verse. This is a series of analogies comparing their impact on modern Urdu to the monumental influence of Shakespeare, Hugo, and Pushkin in their respective literary traditions. To hear them dilate on Faiz's poetry and the plaintive marshes of Miranese was to be raised to a lofty empyrean above the dust and clamor of gray modernity. Dilate on means to discuss at length. Plaintive marshes refers to mournful elegies, specifically those by Miranese. Lofty empyrean is a metaphor for a celestial or sublime state of being. Dust and clamor of gray modernity suggests the mundane, dreary aspects of contemporary life, which are transcended by the power of their words. A session each brought two legends to life, Sadat Hasan Manto and Bapsi Sidwa. Brought to life is a metaphor indicating that the session vividly evoked the legacy of these literary figures. Biopics on Manto's work were discussed by the Gamine Indian actress, director Nandita Das and her bubbly Pakistani counterpart, Sarmad Kusat. Gamin implies a youthful, mischievous charm, and bubbly denotes lively enthusiasm. This sentence indicates that both speakers offered complementary insights into Manto's genius. Another session paid tribute to the novelist Bapsi Sidwa, who died recently. Paid tribute means to honor someone, in this case by discussing her literary contributions after her passing. Time was devoted to translations of Faiz Sahib and other writers, to the launch of single-parent books by authors, films, and drama, and on gender issues. This sentence lists various activities, translation projects, book launches, film and drama discussions, and debates on gender issues, demonstrating the festival's diverse focus on literature, in art, and social topics. Guests from India, a rarity nowadays, added spice to Lahore's jaded palate. A rarity nowadays emphasizes that Indian guests are uncommon due to political or cultural tensions. Added spice is a metaphor meaning they brought new, exciting elements to the event. Jaded palate implies that Lahore's cultural scene had become tired or predictable, now refreshed by this diversity. Two mellifluous performances by Arinyani Bhargav and by Dr. Swarnamaya Ganesh restored the Bharatanatyam to a Lahore stage. Mellifluous means sweet or musical. This adjective highlights the beauty of the performances. Restored implies that the traditional dance form, Bharatanatyam, which had waned, was revived on stage. This evocative form of dance was commonplace before 1947. Now it is as rare as a prancing unicorn. Evocative means capable of bringing strong images or memories to mind. As rare as a prancing unicorn is an idiom that humorously exaggerates its scarcity, comparing it to a mythical creature. A perennial friend of Lahore, the Indian writer and actor Atul Tiwari paid homage to the late film director Shyam Benegal. Perennial friend implies someone who has long been associated with Lahore. Paid homage means to honor respectfully. He presented Benegal as the gentleman behind the camera. The use of quotation marks around gentleman suggests a specific, perhaps understated quality, emphasizing Benegal's refined and influential role in filmmaking. Tiwari spoke again in another session on the challenges of writing for the screen. This indicates a continuation of the theme of cinematic arts and the difficulties of screenplay writing. Indian cinema is a misnomer, he explained. There are many centers other than Mumbai. Misnomer means an inaccurate or inappropriate name. The sentence challenges the idea that Indian cinema is confined to Mumbai, suggesting a broader cultural landscape. It is known as the cinemas of India, rather as King Charles III prefers to be defender of faiths, not of the faith. This comparison uses a humorous analogy. Just as King Charles III is formally titled Defender of Faiths rather than Defender of the Faith, Indian cinema is better described as plural cinemas of India, acknowledging its diversity. If the singer Shafqat Amanat raised the roof on the first day, three equally modern stars of social media brought the house down on the last. Raise the roof is an idiom, meaning delivered an outstanding performance. Brought the house down similarly means to give a spectacular performance that excites the audience. The trio of bloggers, Syed Muzammil, Uzma Rumi, and Faisal Warwick, formed a panel on politics social media. This introduces a panel of influential bloggers, emphasizing the contemporary relevance of digital media and cultural discourse. No one could doubt their popularity. Their hall was packed, filling even the steep aisles. The statement underscores the overwhelming support for these modern voices. Steep aisles suggest that the audience overflowed into every available space. Given the chance, the audience would have defied gravity and squatted on the ceiling. This hyperbolic expression humorously exaggerates the audience's enthusiasm, implying they were so eager that they would defy physical limits. Each on the panel spoke in the language of the 21st century, using a vocabulary Faiz Sahib would not have understood. This contrasts contemporary slang and communication styles with the traditional language of Faiz Ahmad Faiz, suggesting a generational shift in expression. He would, though, have lauded the passion that erupted through their forceful opinions. Lauded means praised highly. Despite not understanding their vocabulary, Faiz would have appreciated their fervor and strong convictions. Each Lit Fest offers its own fare. The Think Fest provides a platform to social scientists. The Faiz Festival offers a pulpit to poets and writers. The forthcoming Lahore Lit Fest from February 21st, 23 will yield the stage to a wider spectrum of scholars and academics from around the world. Fare here metaphorically refers to the variety of intellectual and artistic content offered at each festival. Platform and pulpit are metaphors for venues of expression and debate. Yield the stage means to provide opportunities for a diverse range of participants. Why can't we write it like them? An attendee asked. This rhetorical question reflects the aspiration and self-doubt among participants, challenging them to reach the high standards exemplified by the festival speakers. They should have paid attention to Zehra Nigah when she quoted Allama Iqbal's riposte to someone who asked whether the Holy Quran was in fact a revelation. Riposte is a term meaning a quick, witty reply. This sentence implies that Zehra Nigah's invocation of Allama Iqbal's response is an exemplar of literary prowess and deep insight. Of course, isn't unbidden poetry proof enough? This quotation suggests that spontaneous, inspired poetry, unbidden poetry, serves as undeniable evidence of divine inspiration. Lit fests are man-made, but the inspiration that drives authors, poets, and creative minds, however, is undeniably, invisibly a whisper from the divine. The sentence contrasts the human-made organization of literary festivals with the transcendent, almost spiritual source of creative inspiration, described as a whisper from the divine. The writer and author was a speaker at the Faiz Festival. This final attribution informs the reader that the writer has a direct connection to the event, enhancing credibility. www.Aijazuddin.pk, published in Dawn, February 20th, 2025,